Let's go. Welcome to On the Attack with Mack, a podcast meant to inspire, motivate, and even educate you to go out there and win in life. I'm your host, Cornell Mack, and your boy is geeked up because we are going to have a phenomenal show today talking about this one life that you have. So you have to get out here and get after it. We also have a guest interview with my homie, the man, the myth, the legend, one of the OGs of our industry on social media, Mr. Naylor Taliaferro, LCR Media, Lawn Care Rookie Pod Row, all of that good jazz. We will get into some of the stuff that him and I got going on together here in a little bit. But we always start the show with live viewer shout outs, followed by the motivational minute, the word of the week, and the winner of the week. And then last but certainly not least, the word of the week. So let's get to these live viewer shout outs. If you would like to have a shout out, make sure you comment if you're watching on YouTube. Unfortunately, Instagram and StreamYard are having compatibility problems. And so we can't see you on Instagram tonight, unfortunately. But I apologize for that. If you want to be acknowledged, do me a favor, comment in the YouTube comments so that we can let people know that you're here. And like I said, in a little while, we will have my homie Naylor Taliaferro, the lawn care rookie, in the building. Let's go. But we got Spence Crisco in the building. We don't have a lot of people in here right now, but we got Spence Crisco in the building. He's a channel member. We got Penn Brothers Lawn and Landscape, and I'm happy that they're in here. Dave is his name. Dave is in the building. Stick around, Penn Brothers. We got something for you. Spence Crisco, like I said, Drew is in the building. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't understand what's going on. I'm not a technology person, but apparently Instagram and StreamYard are having some compatibility issues. I almost couldn't get that out. It's a live show. What are you gonna do? But that's who we got in here right now. Adam Levette is in the building too. But like I said, we start each show with a motivational minute. And I was watching this speech today on Instagram while I was doom scrolling. And this guy named Graziano, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's like a business entrepreneur, motivational speaker type of guy. But I heard him talking about this one life that we got. And so this week's motivational minute is to remind you, man, you only have one life. We only get one shot at doing the things that we want to do. And so why not do the thing that you absolutely love? My life completely changed when I started to do that rather than trying to make other people happy. So remember, you only have one life. So you might as well go after what you want in this world because the only people that get what they want are the people that go after it. No one's going to hand it to you, and since you only got one life and you want to live life more abundantly, you have to get up off the couch, get outside, and make something happen. Get after it, man. You deserve to win in this life. And so you got to get out there and get after it, man. Don't let all the people that you see around you get to where they're trying to go and you're just staying stagnant like a tree. All right. Get out there and get after it. Go after what you want because you only got one life. So do not waste it. Go out there, get after it. Do as much as you can with what you have and make your dreams come true. This week's winner of the week is in the building right now as we speak, watching. I'm happy I finally got to find out his actual name, and it is my man Dave, Penn Brothers Lawns. They are in their second year of business, and the reason that they're this week's winner of the week is because they're adding on something new. It's actually a separate business called Penn's Scoops Poop, and it will be ran by his wife. I don't know what his wife's name is, but we always enjoy when people are getting out here, starting something new, starting a new business and adding more things to the money income side of things. We want to have all these different streams of income. That's what all of the financially wealthy people say, and that is what they do. And we want to do that too. And we are afforded that ability in this beautiful industry, the green industry that we have. There's so many different things that you can do. And once you get out there, you open up your eyes to the possibilities. Once you see what can be accomplished within the schedule of your particular day, whether it's Monday or Sunday, any of those days in between, you start to open up the vision of what your world could be if you had a little more money trickling in from here, a little more money trickling in from there. And the more things that you can add, the faster you will get to your financial goals, which hopefully is debt freedom and then leaving a legacy for your family and your generations after you. That is what we should all be doing. So, congratulations to Scoops Poop and my man Dave and his wonderful wife on their new business adventure, getting out there and doing the pooping and the scooping like my girl Erica Crouppen. Get out there. Go hit up Erica Crouppen, ask her some questions. I know that she could help you out. We got some more people in here. Lawrence Tolbert, Chris Bustos is in the building. What's going on with y'all? We will get to this week's word of the week. Let me pull it up and then I'll tell you real quick about what I have going on, and we will get my homie Naylor in here. So each week, my man Marcus Tate, the LBC OG, sends me a good word of the week. And this week, I actually read it. So hopefully, I don't stumble over my words too much because it is a phrase. Let's go. Marcus Tate says, "Rise and shine." Word of the week is fruit of the spirit. What fruit are you producing? A fruit is an edible reproductive body of a seed plant. Some say we are people and we don't produce fruit, but we do. I have learned that if you stay around a person long enough, you will be able to see what kind of person they are. This is their fruit. To produce good fruit, you have to work on you. Become the best version of yourself by working on improving your weak areas. So, work on you because the world needs to see the beautiful fruit that you can produce. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. That is from Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 in the New King James Version of the Bible. Have a great week, Marcus Tate. I hope that you guys enjoyed the word of the week because if you get out here and you do some stuff, you will produce some fruit. So get out there and be a fruit producer and produce good things in your life. If you put good seed in the soil, you will bear good fruit. So the Bible says, let's go. But let's get into what I got going on this week, and then we will bring my homie Naylor Taliaferro in the building. In the last week ended good. It was hot as ever last week. I think we got a little bit of rain last week. So the grass is still continuously growing. Let me know what's the grass like in your neighborhood, where you're at in the country or the world, depending on where you watch or listen from. Let me know. You can hit me up at Mack underscore landscaping 412 on Instagram to get directly to me in the DMs. Let's go. I answer everything on my own. We don't have no producers or anything like that around here. And what we do at Mack Landscaping and Lawn Care on the Attack with Mack. So hit me up, Mack underscore landscaping 412, or you can email me at Mack Landscaping 412 at gmail.com, and let me know, how has your week gone, and are you getting heat, are you getting rain? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. But we had a good end of the week, and we ended the week with another pool party over at the Max Hideaway or Oasis. We haven't established a name yet. Let me know, what do you think we should name my pool area? It's coming together nicely, I must say so myself. But we had another pool party. This is now 4 out of 5 weeks. There's been a pool party at my house, and there will be 5 out of 6 weeks because there's another one this Sunday coming up for Poppy J's 60th birthday. So shout out to him, and shout out to my niece and nephew Samir and Iona. They turned 12 and 7 over the weekend. So shout out to them. They're also some winners of the week. We also did a trip to the regionals track event that my daughter is in for AAU, where she had personal records in all of her events: the javelin, the 4x800 meter relay, and also the discus. And she qualified to go to the national championships down in Savannah, Georgia, next week, while I'll be in Las Vegas at Pod Row with my homie Naylor, and that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. But yeah, so shout out to my daughter who qualified for nationals. I guess she's a winner of the week as well. And we had a good day today, but unfortunately it rained and cut us a little bit short. So it is what it is, but we still managed to get 14 properties done. Tomorrow it's going to be 90 degrees, high humidity, but no rain. So it's going to be hot, sweaty, muggy out there, which we do not like, but we will get the job done. And we just had to add on, I want to say 3 extra properties that we missed today because it got cut short by the rain. But That's about it for the week. Let me remind you that the 2025 Win in Life Meetup registration is now open. You can sign up with the link down in the description of this video or in the show notes of the podcast that you're listening to, wherever you're listening to. And you can also sign up at my link tree on Mack_landscaping 412 on Instagram or any YouTube video that you may click on. It's going to be a fun time at Vernon Lanes on October 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. And then from 9 to 10 p.m., me and Cedric, my homeboy, will be doing the Lawn Care Power Moves podcast live show in front of the live studio audience. Like I said, it's going to be at Vernon Lanes. It's 100% free to attend this meetup. It is family friendly. There's a cash bar available. We will be playing 3 games that will have prizes with them. That is the strike challenge, the rock, paper, scissors tournament, and the best dress contest. We'll also have some door prizes as well as 100 grab bags for the first 100 attendees. Food will be provided while supplies last, man. And this is again free thanks to all of our sponsors, which we will name later. I can't wait to see you down there. Last year there was 264 people who attended. So let's blow out this building, as they say. Pause. All right, but we gonna uh, let's pack this building out. There's pinball machines, bowling alley with 8 lanes on there. We got a full bar downstairs, full bar upstairs. There's also dart boards and pinball machines, arcade machines, pool tables. You name it, they have it, and we can fit about 600 people in there. So tickets are already going fast. Make sure you sign up now. All right, you don't want to be left out, and spaces are limited. So to the venue. So get signed up, man. We would like to see you there. Also, this week I will be going to next week. I will be going to the Lawn and Landscape Technology Conference at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. I would hope to see you there if you live anywhere within driving distance. Me and my homeboy Naylor, Mike Garvey, and Larry, John Pajak, Eric Triplett, the Pond Digger. We would love to see you guys out there if you can make it. Caesar's Palace is awesome. I've never been in Caesar's Palace, but I did see it. It looks like a beautiful place. So I'm looking forward to going out there on the 23rd through the 25th out there in Las Vegas. And last but certainly not least, if you're going to come to the 2025 Win in Life Meetup, that is at EXPO. And if you use code MAC50, you will save yourself 50% on your Equip registration. The registration is now open and it is half price. You will get 50% off. And right now, tickets are $15, but the prices will go up. So if you have not registered yet, do me a favor. Use that code MAC50, get yourself registered for Equip Expo, and make sure you get yourself registered for the Win in Life meetup. But that is kind of what I got for you. And now, without further ado, we will get to today's guest. One of my best friends out here that I've met through social media, but in the green industry, has become a friend to me, a mentor to me. He's becoming somewhat of a brother to me. We are in groups together. We're networking constantly. I've been listening to his podcast for the last 9 years, I believe, and watching him on YouTube from all them years ago. I've been at LCR Summit, all 3 of them, I think that there has been. Been on Pod Row once, twice. I will be on it again this year. I'll be on the morning show, which is something that he put together. We will be all over the place, hanging out together. My homeboy, Mr. Naylor Taliaferro. What's going on with you, homie?
What's going on, man? We're live on Instagram too on my phone here. I'm doing the old Keith Kalfas thing
Yeah,
here. So just get as many eyeballs as we can. So I got my laptop here for StreamYard, got my phone over here off to the side because I guess there's these technical difficulties you got going on with StreamYard, Instagram, or whatever, but it's all good. We're gonna make it work.
yeah, bro. They tripping. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard and Instagram. I'm not a technology guy. That's what we have other people for. I cut grass. I ain't worried about the technology so much. But they've been having issues for at least a month now. I never thought to pull my phone out because then I'd have to like look both at trying to look at both things. But
Right, right.
you're looking a lot more clear today than normal, Naylor. What's
Oh,
going
that's
on,
good.
man?
All right. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm stepping it up, I guess. I don't know.
No, well, I'm excited to have you on. we've been doing a lot of collaborating lately, Naylor, over the last couple years. It started out as me watching and listening from one side of the microphone and well headphones and camera to now collaborating and doing some things together. You gave me the opportunity to be the MC of the LCR Summit last year. We re-upped that thing again this year. So I'm excited to have you on so we could talk about this lawn and landscape technology conference. But also, I got some questions for you too. So maybe we go 20, 30 minutes. And if anyone has any questions down here for Naylor, make sure you put them in here and then we will get to them, when we can get to them. But
Yeah.
yeah, Naylor, it's
Sounds
gonna be
good to
fun.
me. Same thing over here on Instagram. You guys have any questions for what we're going to be talking about as you're listening? Just put them in the comments here, and we'll just do it up.
Yeah, I feel bad, man. Make sure apologize for the Instagram people who are
It's all
watching
good.
it. It's
Cornell
unfortunate, man.
apologizes. It's all good. It's all good.
Maybe I'll ask you the first question, and then I'll set my phone up too, so we could do it that way, and
There you go.
we'll use
It'll
other
be like
people's.
it'll be like Inception. We'll have all these different
Yeah,
cameras
just
on
turn off the
camera.
microphones, I guess, and people will
Yeah.
be able to hear. But Naylor, for anyone who may not know who you are, I know a lot of our people who are watching live do know who you are. But anyone who hears this or sees this later, give us a quick rundown who you are and kind of what you do.
Yeah, well, I mean, the shortest version for those of you that don't know, I was in retail management for 15 years, and I quit and went all in to become an entrepreneur. Got into lawn care 11 years ago because as a homeowner, I really enjoyed it, and I've been managing businesses in retail for 15 years. And I figured, well, I can just apply some of those business principles, to any business. And I just had to figure out the lawn care business. So that's what I did. I went all in, kind of pressed the hard reset button on my life because I just wasn't happy with the quality of my life. I was feeling like a zombie working all the time, and it just wasn't for me. It might be for some other people, but it just wasn't for me. And I barely saw my kids, my wife. All that was just really bad. So 11 years ago, I started all over again. Got into lawn care, and I haven't looked back. I mean, it's been an amazing experience. And quickly along the way, I discovered the infancy of our community, the lawn and landscape community. A couple of guys on there on YouTube creating content regularly, like Spencer Lawn Care, who's still doing it, the Lawn Care Millionaire, who's still out there, but he's not necessarily making new videos on the Lawn Care Millionaire channel, but he's got his new 5 for 50 channel, Jonathan Potoshnik, the original Lawn Care Millionaire. So a lot of those folks were out there. Geek to Freak, Keith Kalfas, a lot of names that some of you may or may not have heard of that were doing it back then and still are in some regard. So I saw that and I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to create my own content. So I started the Lawn Care Rookie channel because I want everyone to understand that I was just starting from scratch. I was just figuring it out as I go. I was not an expert like the Lawn Care Millionaire or anything like that. I want everyone to know that I was a rookie. So I was just sharing my trials and tribulations as I went along, and that just grew, and I just kept getting on more platforms like everybody else was doing, and I started participating in the EXPO, which was called GIE Plus Expo at the time, and I kind of got the bug for events. I met some people that thanked me for the content that I made back then, 9, 10 years ago, to help them, encourage them to get out of their corporate careers and step into lawn care and landscaping, and they had never been happier. So that was really impactful for me. So I really got the bug for all that, and I just wanted to really continue that and explore that. And now I have all kinds of events that I host all over the all throughout the industry and throughout the year. Do a lot of great things with Equip. And of course, I'm still making content. I have a podcast for 4 years, almost 5 years in November. So it's been we got storms in the background, lightning in there, but here in Virginia, I'm in the Richmond, Virginia area. So I'm originally from the state of New York, but we moved down here 15 years ago, I think it is now. So we've just been living the dream, having a great time, running my lawn care business, creating content about it. And I have a separate LCR Media business as well that's all about influencer marketing, creating content, all types of media, events, and business consulting. And I've just been having a great time. So that's kind of the shortest version of that story.
That's fire, bro. What made you? Because I think you started maybe a year before or so before I did. This is your 10th year, 11th year?
This is my 11th year. Yeah.
Yes, and this is
So
my
2014, I started.
yeah, and I started in 2016. But you've been in for over a decade now. What was the can you give us a quick rundown of what was the moment that made you say, "All right, I'm all in with lawn care"?
Well, there was one pivotal, like aside from my life going in a direction that I didn't want to, there was one key moment. Uh, well, rewind way before that. Maybe that was 20 years ago ish, maybe when we were living still up in New York, and I was mowing my own lawn like I love to do with my push mower and striping it up. That you think about this 20 years ago seems like a lot or it doesn't, but either way it's crazy because YouTube didn't even really exist 20 years ago. Like Facebook was just starting off. It was like just but all the housewives were playing Farmville, whatever. Like there just wasn't not anything near what there is now, obviously, back then. So I was just out of touch with all that. I was a homeowner and I was just mowing my lawn, and I just figured stuff out as I went, got my little books from the big box stores to learn about lawns and all that, and was that guy in the neighborhood that loved my lawns. But I remember my mother-in-law said to me, because they were going to the pool, my whole family's going to the pool on a Saturday, and I'm like, I'll catch up with you guys, I got to mow the lawn. And she's like, oh, I feel so bad, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she's just like, I feel so bad, that you can't go to the pool or you have to mow the lawn. I was like, oh, I enjoy mowing the lawn. She's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, this is great. I love doing that. Because she was like, oh, it's your day off and all that. I'm like, no, I really love it. She's like, would you do this? Would you do that if someone paid you? And I'm like, yeah, like I didn't ever really thought about it. And 20 years ago, it really wasn't a thing. So the real question and the real aha is that things have changed in 20 years dramatically. Like 20 years ago, she said that to me, and I thought to myself, yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. But I never really explored that idea very much because I was stuck in my retail management zone. I wasn't at the point yet where I was like at rock bottom, like I was at a different company at that point. I wasn't at my final company. So I was, I would go from company to company, only a few different companies, and that would kind of reset, like give me like a new timeline, like, okay, it would kind of refresh me. And then I would just get dragged back down again. I realized it wasn't the companies, it was just the whole environment and retail in and of itself. But I didn't have anything. I had nowhere to lean into. There was nothing on the internet. I did a lot of Googling, trying to figure out about creating a lawn care business and all that. I even still have this here, Cornell. I found this crazy card here. I guess my camera's so crispy you can actually see it. KIG Lawn Care, keeping it green. This is like a super old school phone number and
That was
some
your
random.
first like business name?
Yeah, like I just created this business card. Like I had like whatever Microsoft Office or something and a little template, and I made this little thing here. And I went to an office supply store and got the card stock and put it in my printer and printed up and perforated, ripped all these out. And I had a whole stack of these, and I don't know where they all went, but I saved this one as a memory because this was at least 20 years ago. I created this. It was just a dream. I was like, I don't know, like,
See,
like, but there was nothing on the internet, like nothing to help you with that. There was no one making YouTube videos 20 years ago for lawn care, nothing like that. So I was just on my own with this, and I'm like, whatever, I guess that ain't happening, right? So I just
but
I just
well,
stuck it out of retail.
I will say this though. I will say this. There's something about once you create a name, like people always ask me, like, what's the first thing I should do? Like, I want to get customers, and I'm like, do you have a name yet? And not just a name, but a name that maybe means something to you. When you create that card, it makes it real. Like,
Yeah,
it really makes it real. My first business name was Mack Elite Lawn Service, so it was this long, drawn out name. I felt like it took too long to say, but I went on Vistaprint and got them cards made, went on Facebook, put a picture of the card, made that my banner, and was like, "Yo, anyone need their grass cut?" type thing. That's how I started out. But that's when it first became real, Naylor. That people don't understand that. It's like it could be just a dream, but when you take an action towards what the dream is, then it makes it reality. Even if you
yeah.
haven't completed it yet, it makes I have a business a reality. Just that little card, man, and the confidence that that can give you. So I'm happy you brought that card out, man.
Yeah, that's
That's
that that
fire.
yeah, that's a great point. And this isn't the name of my business currently. This was just some random name I thought of. But to your point, it was an idea, right? And it's just like writing it down on paper or in a journal or whatever. Like I literally made a physical, like I took an idea and you remember from the summit last year, I manifested an idea right here. This is a manifestation. Like it's not movie magic. It's not, magical stuff. Like I just took an idea in my head and I made it real by putting it on a business card. Now I didn't start my business, and this isn't even the name of my business when I actually started my business, but this is what probably started it all. I'm convinced this is what started it all in the background because it just stuck with me. And because of that, this is why I said this extra backstory was because of this. Fast forward to 12 years ago, not 11 years ago, 12 years ago, we were in Virginia. We moved like 15 years ago. So we had been in Virginia for a few years. And some people in the neighborhood were asking on the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, if they had any recommendations for anyone to mow their lawn. I don't remember if like their mower broke or they just moved in and they were looking for a service or they just needed a quick fix. I don't remember the details, but my wife remembered this. She remembered this. She remembered the idea, the dream, and she said, she told me about it and said, do you want me? Because I wasn't even on Facebook. This is the crazy thing, Cornell. I wasn't even on Facebook. I didn't have time for none of that. No social media, nothing. I was just like so zombie focused, on retail management all day, every day, barely having weekends off, working a bunch of nights. It was just a mess. And so I had no time. I didn't know anything about Facebook. I knew it existed, but I wasn't on it. She's like, do you want me to respond to them? And I was like, I've said this a few times and you might have heard this story, but I was just like, yeah, whatever. I was like, yeah, go ahead. Like it wasn't the nicest way that I could have said it. Like I wasn't mean, but I was just like, yeah, just sure. Like, sure. I think I was like, sure, very reluctant, instead of like, yeah, thanks, honey. You're the best. I was just like, sure, but I was in a bad state already. But thank you for her saying that to me and for me saying, sure, having enough of whatever to say sure. Otherwise, you and I, Cornell, would have never met and we would not be here having this conversation because I would have not been in lawn care. I don't know what would have happened to my life, but it probably wouldn't have ended well because I was stressed all the time. I was physically ill all the time. I would get pneumonia. I'd get bronchitis, laryngitis, strep throat, double ear infection. I got the flu. Every other year it was something ridiculous. I'd get a cold and it would turn to something epic. And I know that's all because of stress, lack of sleep, lack of proper nutrition, all that stuff. And ever since I left and I've been in lawn care, I haven't been sick since. Even when COVID was going around, I contracted COVID, but I barely even felt sick. I barely even felt like a cold. I was taking care of my family who got hit harder than me, but I contribute that to being out in the fresh air all the time, right? And just strengthening yourself and being in the sun and all being around nature, but also less stress, a different kind of stress. I'm not stress-free, obviously. We're not stress-free. We have a different type of stress, but we have owner stress. We don't have 50 billion bosses above us stress, bringing all their stress down on top of us. And we don't have any ownership of our life, like being owned. We don't have that kind of stress. We are the owners of our own time and our own lives now. So it's a different kind of stress. I remember my daughter said that back when I first started and she was real young. She got it. She was like, it's a different kind of stress. She was telling grandma, who was like, oh, the same one that was like, you must, I hate to mow the lawn on the weekend. I'm like, oh, I love it. After I started business, she was like, wow, you must be exhausted. It must be stressful. Whatever the scenario was, we were driving somewhere and my daughter was like, but no, it's a different kind of stress, grandma. Like, it's his stress. Like he owns it. Like he can control his schedule. He can take whatever work he wants or doesn't want. He can grow his business or not. Like it's all him. So it's a different kind of stress. I was like, wow, kids say the darndest things,
I like the fact that you brought up two things. Number one, your wife, and sometimes like it's the borrowed belief thing, man. Sometimes you just need someone to believe in you, and when it is the person that you love, in life as a man, there's nothing that I want more than to provide the security that my wife needs so she could be herself, who she wants to be in this world. And she wants to believe in her husband. And when we have vision, like Naylor is a visionary. He's one of the people, a leader of leaders, is kind of how we describe him sometimes. Uh, but when you have a vision that people can get behind, it's easy for them to fall in line. And I think it's dope that number one, that you brought your wife up and that she had the belief in you, because I share that similar experience, Naylor. But then number two, not getting sick. Like a different kind of stress is exactly right, man. You somehow find a way that even if you get a little bit under the weather, Naylor, because it's yours and it's your dream and it's your vision, it's your passion, you're willing to play through that like Michael Jordan did when he scored 38 points in Utah, the flu game. You're able to push through those things because it's something you want to do. But I'm ready to mail it on in. If I get some sniffles, man, and it was for another boss in their dream, I might as well stay home and collect this PTO money. Why go in here? But ain't no money coming across this table to give my wife the security who believed in me if I don't get up and I don't go out there. So ain't no little mild COVID about to stop me or Naylor, and it ain't shouldn't stop you either. Naylor, you've been in this thing and how you and I got to know each other. We're doing this now. We started because our wives believed in us and we seen a vision on what we could do cutting grass. But you were one of the originators, one of the OGs to get on social media and start to create content and do creating a brand for yourself. And I was one of the people when you first started that was watching you. I sometimes know like from the OGs, you Fullerton, those type of people, like kind of where I was. I can't remember with you, like in terms of where you were subscriber wise when I first subscribed. But as what's been one of the challenges, because I always say that a lot of people once they start a business, that's the reason to get on social media. Unless you want to be a comedian or do that type of front facing thing where you want to create a brand that way. Okay, cool. But me personally, I ain't care about social media as my own personal thing. But when I started a business, I got on here and I realized how important it is, not just for getting business, but also for networking and learning. So, what are some of the challenges for you as one of the early people getting in here on social media, which has created all these other things, and how you and I are now collaborating on things, got you in it? What's been one of the biggest challenges for you with creating the lawn care rookie brand and LCR Media?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the big one of the biggest challenges of creating social media and running your business. I honestly, before also a good question is why did I like get into social media and what, I kind of briefly mentioned that, but there's a different way that I want to spin this for everyone that's listening that can benefit them. For probably last year or two, I've been preaching about how important being on social media is, not just to be, if you want to be a social media influencer, you want, content creator, like that's great, that's one thing, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about social media to promote your business, to market your business, whatever that business is, lawn care, landscaping. If you're trying to attract an ideal brand because you've got all these views and followers, and you want to get, sponsorships for events or brand deals for your content, whatever it is, social media is the way. I mean, it's been the way for a long time now. So the fact that people still are kind of timid about it and hesitant about it, like I get it, but at the same time, I don't. Like if you want to get it, if you want to get after it and you want your business to go somewhere, whatever that business is and wherever you want that to go, social media is the way. And in the very beginning, the very first thing I did was, again, I listened to my wife. She's like, you have to create a business Facebook page. And I'm like, okay. So I had to like create a Facebook profile first, a personal profile, and then and then create a business page. So I already, started having that mindset of like, I got to market my business, right? Like you're not going to just, people aren't going to just trip and fall on into your, into you, like into your business, like, boop, oh, hey, can you mow my lawn? Thanks. Like, that's not how it works. Like you have to actually market yourself so that you can, get the business and also your ideal business, not just anything and everything. Cause that was another thing that I learned quickly is, instead of driving all over the place and doing this work and that work, these crazy people and that crazy yard and all this stuff, like social media and just SEO, search engine optimization, getting your business, whatever it is, your links, your website profiles, Google My Business, Facebook business profile, all these things are ways to be up there when people Google or whatever they're using to search lawn care services. You want to be available. You want to have things for people to find you. Or if you're driving by and you don't have a magnet or a logo of some sort. Like I started with literally my first year, I knew it was important to do this. I knew it was important to market my business as much as I could, like print marketing, and I didn't spend hardly any money doing this because I didn't have any money. I was starting bare bones. Like I had a little bit of money to be able to pay the bills from retail. But I had to quickly make money from lawn care to be able to make up for that before that ran out. So I really didn't have a whole lot of money to like invest immediately into the business. I borrowed some money to from family to get a walk behind mower and a trailer, and then paid that back by the next season. I traded my Jeep in for the F-150. Like I did whatever I could to bootstrap it. So I spent the bare minimum on print materials to market. Facebook is free, unless you're boosting it. But I just did the free stuff in the beginning, and just doing whatever I could do to market my business. And I got a door magnets. I got one for either side of my truck doors, and then a couple for the back tailgate, like my contact info, the logo of my business. So that when I'm driving down through the neighborhood, or sitting in front of someone's yard doing mulch or whatever I'm doing, at least they can see who I am. And then they would Google it or whatever, and they'd find Facebook, website, whatever the things. And I didn't have as much as I have now back then, but I at least knew to start somewhere. And that's what really helped grow my business, and really, like, immediately, like literally like 30 something clients right out the gate year one. I started part-time 12 years ago. I didn't say this part. When my wife, reached out, like responded to the Facebook post, I got that customer, and then this customer here, there, and everywhere kind of referred these people. And I was driving all over the place, like 30 minutes, diameter radius all over the town, trying to just take whatever work I could. And I had like 6 or 7 yards to mow, and it was difficult. I was still working retail management for like 60 plus hours. So I was just putting my mower in the back of my Jeep, and all my homeowner tools, and just doing it whenever I could do it. But that gave me like the aha moment or whatever, that it made me realize what was possible. Like, wow, if I go all in with this, I could really make something of this. Like, I enjoyed it, and it was so de-stressing and all that. So that's when I went all in 11 years ago, went full time. But then that's when I realized I needed to market, get in social media. And because I was doing that, and I was researching stuff about my business, like how do I price stuff? How do I prune crepe myrtles? How this, that, and the other thing, from a homeowner to a professional. And I would find these videos. Some were like one-time video from years ago, and no one ever, responds to the video. And then there was the Lawn Care Millionaires and the Keith Kalfas and all that there were regular videos. I was like, oh, and I was just binging all the videos, seeing the same people making comments. And I was like, there's a little bit of a community here. And that's where I kind of transitioned from just promoting my business to wanting to be engaged with other businesses, because then that helped me learn as well. Getting around other like-minded people in the comments, and started making my own videos towards the end of my first year, and people commenting on my videos. It was a whole big learning revolving door. I was learning from comments and from other videos and from doing it. And then I was sharing stuff that was actually helping other folks learn. And that's what really breeded that. And I would say, like, if there was a challenge, it was just balancing it all, honestly,
Yeah.
right? Like, just
Mhm.
trying to make sure that, like, I'm not sacrificing my lawn care business or my family, but still giving something to social media, because I wanted to be a part of it. And then I saw potential. Like, I saw all kinds of crazy potential, and it just was off to the races. And then I was like, okay, wait a minute. I think there's really something here. I could really grow this. And that takes time. Like, it's not like I just did that immediately. And it's good that it took time. It also took time for me to kind of recalibrate my schedule and adjust my margins and what I'm going to do what, and all that, instead of it all being all at once, right? So it
Yeah.
kind of happened in phases. So
Because it's a little difficult. Me personally, Cedric and I started with just Instagram, and then I was just on Instagram, just in the DMs to talk to people. Started to, I knew there was a community based off of the same thing you just said, the comment sections and all of that stuff. And then I started to hear people talk about the Equip Expo and things like that. Again, 50% off with Mac 50. But yeah, I started to see that. I realized there was a community, and then after that, I got on YouTube. Then I started to make almost the podcast rounds, where I was on your podcast. I was on all the big people who are the OGs who started podcasts, I've been on all of those shows, and I realized just how important getting on social media is when you're a business. And again, not necessarily to get business, but to be able to learn from other business owners. It has been one of the best things about being in this industry, has been that. But what's a mistake that you've made in your business early on that you've corrected and now it's like a staple that you live by that? Um, this
It's
taught me a
funny.
lesson. I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because the my biggest thing that or one of the biggest things maybe that I feel like everyone knows me for is route density, or route efficiency, and I learned that by default because I realized when I first started my business and I was taking on work everywhere and anywhere, like everyone probably does when they first start out, right? You're just happy to get your foot in the door and start making money and get your name out there. You probably don't even think of the concept of route density. I didn't even know that was even a term. I just knew that I was driving all over the place. Like at one point, I had a yard because like a neighbor that, one of my neighbors' daughters lived on the other side of town, 30 minutes away. So that's an hour round trip, and it took me like 30 minutes to do her tiny little yard. And I tried to market over there, and nobody, like, she's on a little circle. People just look at me and wave, and they either had someone else mowing their lawn, or they just didn't, they mowed their own lawn, whatever the scenario was. But I never got any more, and it was like killing me that it was costing me more to go over there than mow this one little lawn. And that's just one of many examples. And I was just spreading myself so thin. And one of the reasons why I wanted to start my own business, which seems like contradictory to common sense to a lot of people, is I got out of retail management to start my own business to get my time back. I
Right.
wanted to actually get quality of life and have my time back. And when I say some of these things, people are like, what? But listen, the reason this will make more sense because I always worked nights and weekends. So in retail. So when I started my business, that I'm not working nights or weekends. Now, of course, there's a Saturday here and there because there's so much rain or something, or you just get backed up, especially my first year or two, taking on so much work and trying to grow. It would leak into Saturdays on like in the spring rush and all that kind of stuff. You're trying to get all this work done and you get backed up, whatever. But I would never like purposely, intentionally schedule things on Saturdays. And sometimes we would get delayed, or I would get delayed and work past like 6 o'clock at night. I'd work till dark. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but I would never like intentionally schedule things like, oh, I'm working till dark every day. Like, no, like, yes, I want to grow my business, but I drew, some lines in the sand, came up with some concrete rules. I told my wife I'm not working past 6, like I'm not starting a job past 6. If I start something at 5 and it goes to 6:15, that's different, right? I'm going to do my best to be done, but I'm not going to start anything at 6 or beyond. I'm not going to schedule anything on the weekends, right? So those kind of things were helping me get more control over my life, get some quality of life back so that I can actually enjoy my life, enjoy my family, go on all my kids' field trips, do all these things. And that's what I was doing. But it was really hard the first year or two when I was driving all over town because I could only get so much work in that time frame, like until 6 o'clock. Like there was only so much time, and I was spending half of the time driving around all day, and I wasn't making, I couldn't make any more money and I couldn't get any more work. So I'm like, I got to get closer together. I got to pick certain neighborhoods that are like really good. Like there's a lot of a lot of possibilities or whatever, a lot of potential. There you go, to get more work. Like some neighborhoods, they just want you to mow their lawn every now and again, and that's it. They don't want any other services. So I was trying to find the neighborhoods that are dense with a lot of lawns that need to be taken care of, and the type of customers there want more than just like a every other week cut, which I'm like, I didn't even realize biweekly was so bad, until I realized it was bad. Like, so I had to learn those things the hard way. And I'm watching the Lawn Care Millionaire and all that. And then he's talking about route density. I'm like, oh, that's what that's called. So like when I really had all that dialed in and focused on route density and then everything that comes with that, right? It means you have to say no to everyone outside of your service area, outside of
Yep.
your bubble, outside of your inner circle. You're saying no. It's hard. It's tough. But the more no's you say and cut people off outside, the more money you make inside because you can get more done with less. You can start charging a premium, like raise your prices because you're everywhere. And people perceive the value. Like, man, these people, this guy, oh, I see your trucks everywhere. And I had one truck, but I
Yep.
was all over the neighborhood. So people had no idea. And they see that. Well, clearly he's got to be doing a good job. Plus they actually see the good job you're doing. And then you just keep raising your prices. And you're so close together that you're not wasting so much time driving around. So by saying no to the wrong properties, it leaves room in your schedule for the right properties for you to say yes to. So I learned that very, very quickly, and I mastered it, and I teach that, preach that, make so much content about it. People will tag me sometimes on Instagram about route density, hashtag route density, and all that, because I've just been the route density guy.
Yeah, you look, I'm you came across that through your own free will. It took me hearing you literally. You had on your podcast, you was like route density, and then you had route density 2.0 and 3.0 and 10.0, 11, 15.0. But
Right.
you talked about that, and I was just like, oh. And then it was like also at the same time I kind of heard that from you. I also had got Captain Jack, my employee, as well. And that's when I started to put it together like, oh my God, I thought I was winning by coming home with $400 in my pocket, but I wasn't taking into consideration how much time it took me to make $400. And it's just like I'm driving around to do 8 yards. It's taking me 11 hours because I'm driving from this side of the city to that side of the city to do 1 yard that takes 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And I got to lift a lawnmower up steps to even get the yard done. And I only took it on because it was my friend from high school. And it's like you think so those people were dope because they want to support you early on. And I love that. And we all have to go through these growing pains. But once you get a little older into the game, you realize, oh, so you mean to tell me in the 3 hours it's taking me to do this 1 yard, I could do 7 yards in this 3 hours and make $800 instead of $65. And it's crazy because that's what happened to me. So I'm happy you brought up that route density. But
Well,
also
let me just say, not only that, but like you came up with a good point. Like, I feel like everyone should have an employee for a week, just so you know how important route density is, because you're just wasting money and time with an employee sitting in the truck driving all over the place. So that's whole another thing there that fortunately I figured out before I started hiring employees. I went into this 4 years before I started hiring a part-time employees, and then I've had all employees and crews for I think another 5 years until recently. So when I just dialed it back so I could focus on other things. But that really is impactful when you're paying someone to drive around doing nothing. So that's another
Yeah.
point.
It's because when you first start out and you're I don't, chuck in the truck, whatever. When you first start out, we all start out as a chuck in the truck, whether it's a negative connotation or not, who cares? But when you first start out and you just don't know what you don't know, you don't realize that, like, all right, I'm out here and I'm doing this work. But if someone else was doing that work for you, you would have to pay them. So the reason it didn't register to me that, oh, I'm not really making any money is because I wasn't calculating myself as an employee and then subtracting what I would be paying said employee to do the job. I was just looking at it like I got the job done. It's my money now. Who cares what it costs to actually make this money? And it wasn't again until Captain Jack was in the truck with me and I realized I'm doing this 1 yard for $65. It's taking me 57 minutes to get there, 45 minutes to cut, 38 minutes to get to the next house after that. That's 3 hours. I paid him $45. That didn't even equate for the wear and tear on my truck, the fuel to get there, the fuel to put in the mowers, the string line that we've used, the wear and tear on the blades, the oil change, like the insurance that it costs, the mileage on the truck, all these different things that weren't getting, put into the equation, the whole knowing your numbers thing, right, Naylor?
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know. And you think because you left your house with $0 and you came home with 450 that you made money, but it took you 17, 15 hours to do that. And if you was paying, let's just do 10 hours. It took 10 hours to do that. And if you was paying that employee $20 an hour, that's $200. You came home with $450. You're also an employee too. That's $400. You got gas, insurance, materials, all these different things, and now you're paying the customer to cut their grass, but you just don't realize it, man. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things that we got to get through. But you did talk about having one truck, and I know you got logos and everything on there. But let's talk about some of the equipment that you're using, because I do want to transition over to social media and what we're going to be doing over there in Las Vegas and the things that you got going on, Naylor. But what gear are you using to? Because now that you're more of a solo person again, what gear are you using to be the most efficient possible to help with the route density, to go along with the route density?
Yeah, so the thing about me is I try to make sure everything is as streamlined as possible. I try to get the most out of everything and have the most efficient setup possible. So the setup I have now is the same setup I had when I had crews. Like, and so I have the benefit of that, right? Of 11 years in the making of going from, an old 1999 F-150 that lasted me 5 years, over 200,000 miles. I mean, I got it with like 180,000 or something miles on it. And I just wanted to have something, and I was able to trade my Jeep for that, and they gave me a check for a little bit left, and I was like, wow, this is a great deal. And they're like, man, you got a great deal. I'm like, thanks. And that truck really really got me places. I even, from an open trailer to an enclosed trailer, and so that transition, and I still had my F-150 with the enclosed trailer, the 7x16, which I still have to this day. And then I got a Ram 1500, and then I still had the F-150 because I was trying to have multiple trucks. I was renting U-Haul pickup trucks and other trucks so that I could have a second crew, right? Like, technically, like, I would be in that other truck spraying yards while the guys were, mowing in the other setup. But then my F-150s, the engine started leaking, and my guys like, yeah, that's, my mechanics like, that's a no-go. Like, you might as well just get rid of it now. Like, it's not even worth, the engine's going to be worth more than even if I get a used one, than what the truck's actually worth, whatever. So I'm like, dang. So back down to one truck. But I'm like, well, what? And I've got these two half-ton trucks, like an F-150 and a Ram 1500. I can't really grow with these. So I had a whole new thought process. Like, what if I just trade them both in and get a brand new, because they were both used. The 1500 wasn't as used, but I traded them both in for a brand new Ram 3500, crew cab, long bed, 8-foot long bed, like literally the biggest Ram 3500 you can get, single wheel. Dually is the only other option that you can get that's a little bigger than the one that I have, but almost same payload and all that. So I knew that I could get the most out of that truck. I'm like, wow, I can do so much with this Ram 3500. And so I started building other things. Like, okay, well, what about leaves? What about mulch? What about this? I don't do that. I don't do a ton of leaves. I don't do a ton of mulch. Okay, so what's that look like? And then, mulch mate was becoming a thing, and cart mate and truck mate. All these different things, attachments for your mowers and your trucks, whether you have a big dump truck or a smaller pickup truck like I had. And you can have smaller amounts of mulch or bigger amounts of mulch, and ways to just unload it into the wheelbarrows so much faster and easier. So I got a truck mate and a cart mate, and we're just plowing through mulch like it was nothing. I can fill up my truck bed, put wood sides on my truck bed like a lot of guys do, and just have 4 heaping yards of mulch dumped in there, and use the truck mate to just, convey it right into the wheelbarrows on either side, boom, 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 and just do that. And then cart mate on one of the mowers to get to the longer distances, up hills, all that. And you can put a lot more mulch in it and dump it, and then guys spread it. So just thinking of all these ways to be efficient, which that's a dream setup if you're solo, right? Like, you just have all that. Like, so now I still have that stuff. So now when I have to do mulch by myself, it's like a dream, right? Like, I can just bang it out by myself super easy, whether you have a 1-man crew or a 2 or 3-man crew. And when I had many people and we needed more than 4 yards, we would just go dump all the wheelbarrows, fill up all the mulch beds, and then I would go get another 4 yards or however much more was needed, and the guys would spread all the mulch, and I'd come back and they'd be done around the same time, or maybe waiting on me for a couple of minutes, having a water break, and then we'd unload the rest of the mulch. So there was always a way. But now I can just conveniently do it by myself. And I've got Cartmate. I also now have the Mulch Force that came out for Toro. I've had all Toro mowers all this time. Got the Toro Multi Force many years ago, and shortly after it first came out. Then the Mulch Force, which is a big bucket for mulch and other materials.
I love that thing.
Yeah, thing's a beast. You put that on and hydraulically you can lift it, where the cart mate is manual, but you can attach that to any mower. You have to have a multi-force in order to use the Mulch Force. So if you have that, then that's the way to go. So I got that too. So now I have both. I don't need both, but some are better. One's better for other than the other for other things. So I've got that. But the final part of that setup was, I'm like, okay, well, what about lawn maintenance, right? Like I had this great 7x16 trailer, and that's all great, but I really need to haul this stuff around this big trailer all the time for mowing, and there's plenty of, all I would hear about employee accidents was, the trailers. You're backing into stuff, you're side swiping things, it's just a mess. I'm like, man, so when I'm like, I want my crew to be able to go on their own, have a crew leader, all that. I'm trying to think all these things through. And I'm like, well, what's holding me back? Like kind of the fear of some of those things, right? And dealing with that, not everyone knows how to pull trailers anymore nowadays. It's just not a skill that people really learn, unfortunately. So, and then ramp rack was becoming a new thing, the ramp rack, where you attach, like, there's side rails on your bed, and you can have a big headache rack to protect your back mirror and put a shelf on there, or you can just get the minimal one that doesn't have any of that stuff, but you have to have the side rails that then connects this ramp with a dovetail gate, like a dovetail ramp that comes down, and then the gates, just like an open trailer gate that folds up, and then you fold it all the way down, and you can ride your mowers or push your mowers in and out of your truck bed. So the bigger your truck bed, the bigger your mowers. So I had the biggest truck bed you could have, other than like a big flatbed, something like that. But the biggest, commercial truck truck bed. And I was able to get my 48 grandstand in there, my 52 multi-force grandstand, and any other combination of all the other mowers. I had 21 inches and a 30 inch. And, sometimes we had to swap things out for different scenarios, but typically the setup and this way you don't have to pull a trailer, right? And that goes into your hitch and then connects to the racks on the side, the rails on the side. Then you can put racks, all of your trimmer and blower racks on the side. So it's literally like connecting an open trailer to the back of your truck bed. And then you can drive around everywhere. You can make 3-point turns, tight U-turns, getting in all the tight areas, back into parking spots. I mean, it was a dream going, on break for gas stations or whatever. I could just park wherever and have to worry about dragging around this big trailer. So it opened up so many more doors for that. I knew my employees could safely get around, and we can be efficient in and out, saved on gas, because by not pulling that big trailer every day, instead of having to fill up, like I always had to fill back up on like Thursday or Friday. Like I could not make it the whole week with my 3,500 doing all that. How many accounts do I have?
No, that was my bad. I was just pinning the comment. My bad.
Okay, all right. No, but so like pulling, the gas guzzling Ram 3500, pulling a trailer was really, because it was gas, not diesel. So but by getting the ramp rack, I could literally go the whole week, and every Monday I filled up, and I can get through the whole week. So that adds up week after week after week. That's money in the bank, more profit every month from lack of gas that you have to spend on that. So there's just so many different pros to that. And anyone can drive it. They just need to drive the truck. But the other thing is, it was a huge marketing draw. Like I would literally be at a stoplight, and people that weren't even other landscapers would be like, hey, bro, what is that? And I want to point, and I'm like, the ramp rack. Like it literally says it on the side, but I'm like, oh, it's a ramp rack. And they're like, oh, wow, that's sweet. Like it brought so much attention to myself and my business. Everyone knew, because then I got it wrapped, pretty quickly after, because I didn't have my truck wrapped because I was pulling my trailer that was wrapped. But then when I got the ramp rack, I'm like, well, I need people to know who I am. So let me go ahead and get my truck logoed up. So now I have both. So now I have kind of like all these efficient setups for whatever you want. If you just want to go streamline, we just had like a 21, a 30, and the 52 in there. And then we had all of our tools that we needed, and we can do any of our yards that we need to do. We had all like 10,000 square foot, 8 to 12,000 square foot, cookie cutter HOA yards, really nice, lush, tall fescue, well maintained. Either I fertilized it, or another local company like that was only a fertilize only company would do it. They do all the yards in our like, it's a huge company in the state of Virginia, and it was a great setup. So I have the benefit now of have been building that over the years of what's going to work. Like my whole thing was and still is, what's scalable? Like do what's scalable. Like what's going to make it easier, not just for me, but for everyone else, right? So I stopped taking jobs that I didn't want to do just because, and thinking by having employees, they can do it. If I don't want to do it, they're not going to want to do it. I mean, some people get off on like, oh, I just love, picking up garbage or what, whatever. Like everyone's got their thing. Some people love mulch or trimming shrubs more than the next guy. But my point is, if I take on a whole lot of work that I have no business taking on just because I have people for that, and I don't want to do it myself because it's a pain, but I'll just give it to my guys. That's the number one way to disgruntle your employees and not have employees and keep going through your staff because you're not thinking for long term. You're not thinking of them. You're not thinking of, and those services probably aren't the most profitable either. So I started thinking of the right services, the right customers, even more than I already did because I had employees. And what's the streamlined setup? What's going to make it easier, right? I don't want them struggling. Like reduce the friction so that their job can be as easy as possible so that they want to show up every day. Like you could be the best boss in the world and they love working for you, but if you have a terrible setup, your equipment's always breaking down, they got to move 50 different mowers all the time to get Susie's house and put everything back and play Tetris, and then they go down to Johnny's and they got to do the opposite, and that gets get frustrating when it's 100 degrees every day in the summer. So like I think about this stuff. I thought about that stuff and I think about that stuff. And it benefited me now because being back solo, I have the most ideal setup imaginable for me. And it's all
Yeah.
streamlined. So
I've been wanting to actually get the ramp rack. That was part of what one of my goals was at the beginning of the season since I got the Ford F-350 was to get a ramp rack because I was looking forward to starting a second crew. Unfortunately, employees have not been working out. Besides Captain Jack, who's my ace, he's never failed me or let me down. But the people that I've been trying to bring on, they just haven't been working out. My son may be coming back to come to the rescue to go with Captain Jack because I actually wanted to go to a ramp rack system for my Ford F-350 because I want to create more content, but I found that it has been difficult for me to pull the camera out, whether it's my phone or whether it's my GoPro for YouTube, while I have Captain Jack in the truck with me because I have to pay
100%.
him, man. And
Yep.
so it's like, um,
100%.
and then also I feel almost obligated to put him in the video. And not that I feel any type of way about him being in the video, but it's like, what if he don't feel comfortable with that? Now we've never talked about it, and I know he enjoys a cameo here and there, but like to have the camera in there every day, I don't want to. I don't want to put that on him or have the awkward conversation if it's something that he doesn't feel comfortable with. So I
Right.
want to create more content, but I need it sort of to kind of be like on with only me. So it's like me and
Yeah.
the viewer are in the truck together, not
Yeah.
necessarily me, the viewer, and Captain Jack. I want the
Right.
viewer to feel like they're in the front seat with me and
Right.
they're out here doing this with me. Where with Captain Jack in there, it's almost like they're in the back seat and they're the third
Yeah.
wheel. And it's not like I don't want the viewer to feel that way. And I want to transition. I know I don't have you for very much longer, Naylor. I want to get to what we're doing social media wise in the lawn landscape. But last question on lawn care is there's a lot of people who are getting into watching YouTube videos, Instagrams, TikToks, all of this. They see you, they see maybe me, they maybe see Lawn Care Juggernaut or Owl Blades or SB Mowing or Fullerton or Keith Kalfas, Paul Jameson. You name one, you gotta name them all. And they want to get into social media. I'm sorry, into lawn care because they're seeing all of us doing it. And we're glorifying it. We're making it look super cool, man. And I think that's one of the dopest things about making content for this stuff is we show people that having your own business is cool. Whatever cool is to you, you
Right.
can make that yours whenever you have your own business. But there's a lot of people getting into it now because they're seeing that. What's something that people can do to help themselves stand out, whether it's like getting a ramp rack or logoing, or what can they make them, how can they make themselves stand out in a crowd when there's so many people getting into this, what most people are thinking now is this saturated industry? How can they stand out?
Yeah, well, one, this industry is not saturated. It's growing by the billions every year. So, like, this industry is project. Like, I did this research a while back. Last September, I sat down with the lawn care millionaire Jonathan Potoshnik, and I did all this preparation so that we could have an epic conversation. You could check out the YouTube video on LCR YouTube channel. Shameless plug if you want to see that. But it is a great, great episode where we in podcast as well. It's an episode of my podcast. But we talked about a lot of things, and one of the things in my research was this industry is projected to grow a good deal every year and for the next several years. Like it's not slowing down because people are wanting more and more of their time back. Like homeowners and the younger generations that aren't even unfortunately learning how to mow their own lawn. It's not even a thing anymore to even learn how to mow their own lawn or how to take care of their house or whatever. You know, they're busy working. Maybe they're working from home in their office or they go to an office or whatever. Like just the world is changing, right? And especially since COVID, being all locked up and all this stuff, people value their time even more than ever. And if they can find a way to fit money in their budget to have someone clean their house, have someone clean the outside of their house, you know, like take care of their landscaping, all that kind of stuff, then that's their whole weekend right there. Oh, we don't have to clean over the weekend anymore. I don't have to mow the lawn and do landscaping stuff anymore. We can spend time together. We can go for a hike or go to the park or hang out outside in our yard that was already taken care of during the week, you know, and we can just hang out and sit outside or do whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like sky's the limit. You just have that time back. So I think that's becoming more and more of a trend in the world, especially in our country, in America. So there's lots of and around here, they just keep building houses. I don't know where these people are coming from, but they keep building houses in neighborhoods. There's always going to be lawns to cut. And there's so many people coming into this business because it's such a low barrier of entry. Like there's no real requirements. Like, yeah, you're supposed to have a business license, but there's no one really regulating that. Every state's different, of course, but for the most part, you can just hop in with a pickup truck, or not even. You could just have a car with a push mower shoved in the trunk or in the back seat. And we've seen all kinds of stuff out there. Forget about chucking a truck. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of other names you could say, I'm sure, but Sophia and the Kia, you know, whatever, like she's just zipping around doing her thing, you know, and just mowing some lawns, cutting that grass and making that cash. So anyone can do it, but they're not necessarily doing it the right way. And they're not building a business out of it because there's no real regulations or training or anything like that. So the people that want to get serious, the ones that see us talking about it and doing it and going to in-person events and trade shows, you're the ones that are actually taking the right steps and doing it the right way. And you are the future of the industry. Everyone else just kind of disappears. Those people that, you know, they just hop in and hop out. They realize I can't do this. Like, this is not something I can do. This is more than I thought it was going to be, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, or they're not profitable anymore. They're losing money because they don't know how to do all these things properly. They don't know their numbers, so on and so on. So the way to stand out is to stick it out, right? Like just, you know, like play the long game, get the training, get the networking, learn, do the right work, and then brand yourself is the other big key. Branding. I mean, like, you know, the basics, like answering your phone and returning calls and giving estimates on in a reasonable time, and just like common sense things you would think that just does not happen. Like, I can't tell you how many people, I still get people that tell me, yeah, my guy just stopped showing up and doesn't return my calls anymore, so I need someone else. Like, yeah, it's like they just fell off the face of the earth. And you hope that it wasn't something tragic that happened to them, but more than likely they just realized this was too much, or I'm losing money, or I can't find enough people and I don't want to do it by myself. So they just jump out of it. So if you can stick with it and build the right, you know, system, a strong foundation, and learn from all these different resources, you know, that I just mentioned, then you will get ahead of everyone just that alone. But then if you really want to step it up, branding is key. Like I said, I had truck magnets right out the gate, and then I got lettered up when I could actually afford all that. Like, you don't have to go all in right away. You just figure out a way to chip away at it. I always had a branded shirt, t-shirts. Like, these are pretty cheap. You can get them on all kinds of websites everywhere. You can just local places, and a lot of places you can get them done. I mean, you just whatever your brand is, like, just get some clean shirts and wash them frequently so that they look clean. You don't have to have a gazillion of them, and then just do good work and get yourself out there. And the more tighter your route, the more branding the more your branding increases, because you're seeing so much more. So you better make sure you've got, logo shirts and some sort of logo on your truck or trailer or both, so that when you're driving through these neighborhoods and you're sitting in front of 2-3 houses at a time because you're getting that route density. I had 8 houses on one street at one point before I sold the whole route of 26 yards to a local competitor and friend of mine. Like, and it's because it was so valuable, because I had so many yards in such a small area. Like, in one neighborhood, it was so valuable, and I tracked all my numbers through my CRM so they could see exactly how long it took, how much I charged, what my man hour rates were, all that stuff. So the data is important too. That's, that's beyond another conversation for another day. But branding and just staying the course and doing the right things and growing yourself, growing your own mind, and then applying what you learn to your business. That's really the key to success. It's not oversaturated. There are a lot of people in the industry, but there are not a lot of people that are staying in the industry. They come and go, come and go, come and go, because they're not doing the right things to be successful.
No doubt. Well, let's transition, because we're here to actually help you, number one, in your lawn care business, if we can, or whatever business that you're in, because all of this stuff is universal. But number two, Naylor and I will be traveling next week to Las Vegas to be on Pod Road to do some podcasting at the Lawn and Landscape Technology Conference at Caesar's Palace. But Naylor, LCR Media and your podcast have become staples in our industry over the last 4 to 5 years. How do you decide, like, who you're going to bring on, and when you're just doing a solo thing, what are some stories that are like important for you to share when you get on your podcast?
Yeah, well, so two things. One, the first part, the first question you asked, that I just want value. Like, anyone who I think has a valuable story. Like, in the beginning, there were so many people that I wanted to interview for so many different reasons, and I've interviewed so many of those people. And sometimes you feel like, man, I've interviewed everyone, but you haven't, right? There's always people that you haven't met yet, or they're on the come up, or like, so, like, for me, I want to interview anyone and everyone with a story. Like, I don't want to just interview the Jonathan Potoshniks and the Corey Ballards of our industry. Like, that's great. But I also want one of the reasons why I created the Lawn Care Rookie channel back in the day, 11 years ago now, was because I wanted to have something for other people like me that were just starting out. Like, I binged all of the content that Lawn Care Millionaire and some of these other folks were putting out that were years or decades ahead of me. I binged it, but a lot of it wasn't directly, like, it wasn't immediately applicable for my circumstances. I had a lot of questions and a lot of trials and tribulations that I was figuring out all by myself, because that content wasn't out. That no one was talking about that stuff. They're talking about stuff years in advance, talking about employees and crews and commercial properties and route density and all these things, which I was figuring out route density. But like, some of this other stuff, I was just like, it was way ahead for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm not there yet. Like, what are the steps to even get there? So that's why I wanted to share, in addition to being connected to the community, the actual type of content that I was sharing was all like rookie stuff. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I did. Check out this. This worked well. This was a fail, like, whatever. Like, I was just sharing all this stuff. So I think that is really, really important and valuable. Man, I feel like now. I'm like losing my train of thought. Oh man.
Well,
But
I got my ADHD in order, Naylor. Don't be coming on here throwing shots now. I remember my train of thought. Now, it took me a minute, but my wife said, after doing this now for close to 2.5, maybe 3 years since we started Power Moves, I
yeah,
said, I
yeah.
think it's because I got my ADHD. And she said, maybe it's just because you do it so often now. And I was like,
There you
oh,
go.
maybe you're onto
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, you got it down pat. But I was saying, like, so I want to interview different people with different stories because it's not, I want it to be relevant to as many people as possible, was the point that I was trying to get to. Like the lawn care millionaires and all that, just like why I started my YouTube channel, to get that information out for the newbies. So it's the same thing. I want to get the solo owner operators, the brand new startups, to the biggest, most experienced company business owners, and everyone in between. So there's no specific names or types of anything. I even have entrepreneurs from outside our industry just to bring value. Like I'm just constantly, the whole point is get to know the pros. So I'm always trying to interview as many valuable business owners in entrepreneurship as I can, so that I can do that. And then there was one other thing that you asked that I'm already forgetting. It's been a long day, I
What
guess.
are some stories that are most important to share on the podcast? Because
There you go.
I
Yeah,
come up
yeah.
with the same thing. Is like when you get on here, what is going to be beneficial to the person? That's, for me, I do them live here on YouTube, Instagram, but it also comes out on the podcast. But the person that's watching or listening, the last thing that I'm 42. How, you like 41?
I'm
All
about
right,
to be 47 tomorrow.
47. So we're now to the point, age wise, Naylor, where people pass away for regular reasons. We ain't talking about nothing crazy, just regular health, man. Where people pass away. Whenever I do a show or a podcast, the last thing I want to do is waste anyone's time, especially people who are our age. Now, when you're young, we might think that we have more time than we actually have. But whenever you turn on your video or put your earbuds in or your ear muffs, whatever it is that you listen to podcasts and stuff on, I want it to be beneficial to you, either entertaining you, making you smile, or giving you real beneficial information that can help you go out there and win in life. That's what I, the people that I know that I'm cool with, like Naylor, that is what their ultimate goal is just to help other people. So I love it. I was going somewhere with that,
Well,
Naylor.
but I remember, but what to that point is the type of content that I'm looking for, or like what type of stories and things to share.
Right.
My point that I wanted to make to that is, since I've been back to solo, I have a totally different perspective now for content. Like I'm not solo like I just started out solo. I'm like back to solo. So I have all of these years of doing other things, not solo. So I have a totally different perspective. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like just figuring this stuff out or just starting out. I'm talking about, hey, here's the pros and cons. Like, wow, since I've been back solo, I've noticed this or that. I had to fix this or tweak that, or this kind of fell behind or that fell off or whatever. I need to get back on track with this or that. Like there's adjustments that happen, right? And sharing that, I think, is a different perspective for being solo, and how to be efficient, and just reflecting on a lot of things, and the way I approach everything now is as an 11-year experience, now back to solo, like really dialed in, like super efficient, 6-figure lawn care business by myself, just getting after it, not driving all over town, just so much versatility within that, and profitability, and sharing that on the podcast is one of my primary goals. And it's just when I'm at an event like Pod Row or Equip, or if there's something specific I really want to talk about, the summit, whatever, I'll get some guests on and interview them for that. Or like I said, at an event, just get new folks on, on the podcast to share their stories. But like usually every week I'm talking about, it's kind of like a vlog in a sense. Like my podcast is like a vlog, a podcast vlog. Like I'm literally kind of talking about what I'm going through in my life and business throughout the season, through my podcast, in addition to my social media. But I can just go deeper into the conversation, the stories in the podcast, versus a 90-second, Instagram reel or something, or trying to make a nice YouTube video that people are going to watch, most of it, and not be bored or whatever. But a podcast, people can just listen while they're working, and you can really explain things some more. And I've had some people reach out and say, wow, thanks for giving us solo guys something to listen to again. because it's relatable to them now, like where whatever I used to talk about wasn't as relatable, I guess. So, and that's gonna change. Your audience is gonna differ, and I just go with where I am. Like I try not to get too caught up with what everyone wants, as long as it's I want to serve and provide value, but I'm not going to just do it just to make them happy if it doesn't align with what I'm doing as well, if that makes sense. But like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to chase trends or just try to make everyone happy and people please. No, I'm going to serve them in the way that serves me as well. Like, hey, I am back to solo. Let me talk about that. That might help somebody, right? And look, people are like, oh, thanks for giving us this new content. We appreciate it. And that might not resonate with everybody, but hey, I'm just going to put it out there so that it resonates with the people that it does and provides that value. So that's how
Yeah.
I've navigated all my content over the last 11 years.
Well, and I feel like that's so me personally, where I'm trying to, because starting out, I didn't kind of have a direction on what I wanted to do. Right. Like you said, I'm a lawn care rookie. I want to make this stuff well, that's the majority of the people. The majority of the people in our industry are like me and like you, Naylor. They're either solo or they're solo operator that has maybe one employee. Now, you can have aspirations to have 50 employees if that's you. That's not me. And it ain't ever going to be me. I do what I like to call stress free lawn care. Naylor knows that. That's why he used that a little bit earlier. But stress free is me going out doing what I enjoy doing. I don't want to be managing 15, 20 people. That's not important to me. The profit margins on that type of stuff are low. It's a lot higher for us being one, two, maybe three people, maybe two crews. Your profit margins, in my opinion, and through what has happened for me, is going to be the highest when you are more small. They say, you get to keep more of the money when you have less
Right.
employees.
Less overhead. Yeah.
Yeah, less overhead. So that stuff's important to me, and I'm happy that you brought that up because that's what the majority of the people are. The majority of the people who are watching this right now live got like two people, maybe two crews at most. Now, there might be some people in here, but once you get so big, it's like I, I can't even relate to that anymore. Like, I can't relate to Brightview. I don't know what they're going through when they're coming to Equip Expo to buy 700 new lawnmowers. Like that, and that's what they're doing. I'm coming down here to meet you, to talk to Naylor. I'm coming here to talk to the person who's watching or listening to this. They're going down there to actually make huge business investments because they got 10,000 employees or whatever. I don't know. I don't have any desire to do that. And I think that that's why things resonate more with the solo or one crew or two crew people because there's more of us, and that's who I want to make the content for. But you've been a big supporter of community events. You were one of the originators, one of the OGs when it comes to that stuff. Now you have the YouTube rally, which is how I found out who you were. You then created Pod Row. You made the morning show at Equip Expo. You got LCR Summit now. Um, I hope I'm not leaving anything out. I feel like every time I say all the things you do, I leave something out because you're doing so much stuff. But why do you think it's important to go to community in person events like this in our industry?
Well, I kind of went through this in one of my recent podcast episodes. If you think about like a funnel that you fill up you maintain your vehicles and your mowers, and you put oil or hydraulic fluid or whatever, you got that funnel. It's real wide at the top so that you don't spill anything, and you pour it in, and it gets real narrow down at the bottom, and so you can really get that liquid in there. So you think about a funnel like that, and you think about how we are learning and interacting. Social media is like at the top of the funnel. That's like the widest part. It's just kind of like we're just talking about whatever we're talking about, and you can learn some things here and there. You can connect with some people here and there, DM, whatever. But until you start working your way down the funnel and you start getting tighter and closer, like in an in-person event, is close to the bottom of the funnel, that's where you are going to get more direct content, contact and interaction with like-minded business owners. So like when you go to an in-person event, whether it's a meet and greet, like a social gathering, like the rally where all the YouTubers that are there, and content creators of all different kinds, and some of the brands that are sponsoring it so we can have free food and have a good time, and then everyone else that's there that goes from the community that attends, like like it's free to attend, and we're just hanging out, talking and networking. And then there's the LCR Summit, where you're literally paying for 2 days of nonstop learning to make your business better. Those are two different dynamics, but you can learn almost as much, just different ways from both of those, right? Like one is just networking, the other one is networking and learning, right? You're networking with the attendees, and then you could potentially network with the speakers that are teaching whatever their topics are. And so it could just be that one conversation that you have with an attendee during lunch or during a break or afterwards, and you're standing outside or you're walking, hey, I'm going this way too, and you're walking back to your hotel or whatever. You have that one conversation, or maybe it's with a speaker, after, or maybe they said something on stage that really struck you. It's just that one thing, that one tweak that activates or kind of unlocks something that maybe you were stuck, or you didn't even realize, you didn't know what you didn't know. I know me, I have so much more awareness for so many things over the last couple of years. The more I've invested in myself, the more I've spent time and money to go to in-person events in our industry and outside of our industry, and other business entrepreneur events, and just learn stuff I never even knew existed, and then bring that back to our industry to help our community grow in the way that we need to for our businesses. And that to me, that's the best way to grow. I mean, and then beyond that, beyond an in-person event, the last final part of the funnel, you've got like paid communities, real small, close-knit communities where there's 50 people or 100 people, not like a big old Facebook group with thousands of people. If you know, I mean, there's a lot of wacky stuff in there. But when you're getting dialed into like one specific community, like this person's community or this business's community, and it's like a closed private Facebook group or whatever platform they're using, school or whatever, whether it's free or paid or whatever. Usually the paid is the bottom of the funnel, because you're filtering everybody else out. You're getting the people that are serious, not curious, and they want to learn, and they want to share, and they want to grow. And that's those tight communities that are paid. And then there's some coaching and consulting out there as well, which is also paid. And that's where you're getting the bottom of the funnel, where you can actually learn. You can ask questions relevant to your business, not generalized to every business. And you can have follow-up, like if you have a business coach or you're in a coaching group, then you can actually have follow-up questions, and you can ask questions when you're stuck on something, and bounce ideas off of each other. And that's where it all happens. But I feel like the in-person events is kind of like the biggest step before that. Like, come to an in-person event, whatever that is, and then you learn and listen and learn to whoever's speaking. Network with the attendees. Don't be shy. Don't just kind of be in the background. I mean, maybe you can to get your bearings, but get yourself out there. Sit in the front row, literally and figuratively. Get yourself out there, right? Don't sit in the back row of your life and watch everyone else pass you by in the front row. That's not how you're gonna achieve the goals that you want in life. So just be intentional and get to these different events. Get yourself in the right room so that you can meet the right people and have those conversations that are going to get you in the right direction.
That's fire, bro. You just said so many dope things. I'm gonna have to break this into 2 episodes, which will be cool. This will come out on Wednesday. I'll make sure this gets done. And then the last thing on Friday, people been getting on me, Naylor. I've been acting like my homie Blake. And
Oh
the boys ain't
no!
been coming out. Shout out to Blake Alverson, the
Oh
B&B Lawn Care Podcast.
yeah.
But
You
yeah,
gotta
I
be
gotta
consistent,
get them
man.
out
Yeah.
there, bro. But what role does mindset play in sustaining a successful business, whether it's our lawn care business, which we all do, or whether it's a new social media business, which I encourage you to do if you are watching or listening. Start being more intentional on your social media. You could be the one. But what mindset do you have to be successful in that stuff? And then what do you do to keep your mindset sharp? I kind of know, but let some people know kind of what you're doing behind the scenes to keep your mindset sharp and keep you going on that Me 2.0 level that you've been doing.
Yeah, well, the best way to answer this, and it's my favorite thing, is mindset is everything. right? Most people focus on tool set. So there's three main components of a successful person and a successful business. There's mindset, skill set, and tool set. Most people focus on the tool set and they don't even have the skill set to use the right tools, and they don't have the right mindset to even acquire the right skills to be able to use the right tools. So it all starts with mindset. You have to have the right mindset to be able to learn the right skills to then use the right tools. So mindset, skill set, tool set. I mean, this could be a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but that's like the shortest version that I can explain it, how important your mindset is, because without going into rabbit holes of examples, the main thing is if you don't have your mind right, you're not going to have your money right. You're not going to know how to treat employees right, or find the right employees, or train the right employees. What's the right equipment set up for you? You're just going to look at what Johnny down the street's doing or everyone else, or are you going to think outside the box? You're going to get the ramp rack like I did. No one had the ramp rack in my area. Now a whole bunch of people have the ramp rack because I saw the benefits of it and I started using it, and people, oh, it's a good idea, you know, but like, you have to have the right mindset first. Mindset is everything. You can have, I mean, you really can't have the skills without the mindset, right? But I mean, I guess you could just have natural abilities, right? Like you're just naturally good at certain things. So that could be a skill. But in order to learn the right skill set, you have to have the right mindset to be able to do that. And then anyone can pick up a tool and use it, but you're maybe not using it the right way. Maybe you don't have the right tool for the right job, the right size mower, the right type of mower. Are you even using the mower properly? Are you tearing up the turf? Like such simple things. Like I saw someone the other day, someone in my coaching group, I was, you know, being as nice as possible, but they were asking a totally different question. And in the picture, I'm like, I can see your tire tracks. They're overlapping. So you have to go edge to edge. You're wasting, like over the course of your lawn, you're adding in extra passes, so you're wasting time and essentially money. Like this is like some stuff that people don't even think about, maybe don't even care, but it all matters. But if you don't have the right mindset to even think that matters, to then learn the skill set, I thought mowing was mowing. I mean, I know how to straight back and forth. They look pretty straight and crisp. Yeah, but did you really figure out that you're overlapping every single one by 6 to 12 inches, and that now you've got 2 or 3 extra swipes? You could have been on the next yard already, and you accumulate that over the day, over the week, like just like saving on gas. Like if you don't have the right mindset, you're losing money left and right. And people wonder why they get burned out. They wonder why they're not coming home for dinner. They wonder why they're working all day, every day. And they wonder why their family is not really as happy potentially about it. Because at the end of the day, your family didn't ask you, or whoever you have in your life didn't ask you to work all day, every day from sun up to sundown. That's not what they signed up for. They want you. Of course, they want to be financially supportive, but they want you. They want to spend time with you. They don't want your leftovers after you've burned yourself out in your business and you come home on fumes and you barely spend time with your family, or when you do, you're just a shell of yourself. That's how it was in retail. And then you go to bed and rinse and repeat. So that's why you got to get your mind right. And these are the things that we're going to talk about at the LCR Summit. Specifically, I have a system that I'm going to share over the course of 2 days. I call it Nature's Framework. And it really breaks all this down, because nothing in nature hustle and grinds. But yet that's such a trending thing for all of us to hustle and grind. Let's just hustle and grind our life away. For what? No, there's seasons. There are 4 seasons in nature. We know this because we have to work through them and around them, right? We can't work very much in the winter unless we're plowing snow. Why is that? Because nothing's growing, because nature's resting and recovering and preparing for what? For spring growth. So we should be doing the same thing. So like I talk all about, I talk about this, and I'm going to be really breaking this down at the LCR Summit in October in Louisville, Kentucky, and really breaking all that down, and then how your finances get tied into that, like what you should be doing each season so that you are not burning yourself out, and that you're being as profitable as possible for your business. And that so you're protecting your inner circle, whoever that is. Is it your family? Is it your future family that you want to have? Are you young and living at home? It's your mom, your dad, your grandma, whoever your inner circle is, or your goal, your future goal of an inner circle. You need to build the right business. And that all starts with the right mindset. So that's why I'm going to be focusing a lot on mindset at the LCR Summit, so that you can actually be in the right mindset to learn the right skill set. right? And then go home and use the right tools.
That matters so much. Is the right mindset is a lot of times people is having an open mindset, being open to new ideas, man. Sometimes we close ourselves off because of how we grew up or the situations and circumstances we've been through in our life, or people have hurt us or turned their back on us or didn't believe in us. But man, like, bruh, you got to get after it anyway. Like, you could just be anything that you want, but don't let things stop you from getting that growth. Naylor, tell us a little bit about the Lawn and Landscape Technology Conference and Pod Row, and what can we kind of expect whenever we get over there?
Well, I'm excited. I've never been to it before, but I've met everyone at that magazine. It's the Lawn and Landscape magazine. It's one of the popular publications in our industry. A lot of folks have a subscription to it, or they go online and look at it digitally. They have a booth at EXPO every year, just like some of the other popular magazine publications, print publications. So they have their own event. Several publications have their own event. And Lawn and Landscape is one of them. It's a big one, and I think this is their 6th year doing it. I've heard a lot of great things from other attendee, from people in the community that have gone to previous Lawn and Landscape events. It's more tech driven, like it's called the Technology Conference for a reason. It's not like EXPO or just like a generalized trade show. It's very specific on technology. So they've got an exhibit hall where we're going to be with Pod Row, and there's going to be all the big brands are going to be there, like Crest is going to be there, and a lot of different softwares are going to be there. So there's going to be a lot of battery and robotic equipment there, as well as softwares and AI and all the latest, greatest technology for our businesses, for lawn and landscape and in the future. So there's going to be that for you to be able to go to the different booths and talk to the vendors. And, there's no demo like Equip. That's why Equip is Equip. It's so unique because they have all the demo area. So there's a showroom floor, at least for lawn and landscape. It's in Vegas, which is pretty epic. So you got that whole backdrop. But then they also have classes as well. A lot of training. Like I know Mark Bradley, the previous creator and owner of LMN software. He's going to be one of the speakers there. I think he has a couple different classes that he's going to be teaching, like talking about AI in your business and all that. So there's going to be a lot of big name people in our industry that are going to be there at like panels, where there's Q&A, and then actually sessions where they're going to be teaching certain topics. And that's going on throughout the whole week that we're there, and then we're there for a few days in the exhibit hall for Pod Row, and we're going to be set up. It's going to be getting all kinds of podcasts with who knows who's going to be there, right? I mean, I know a lot of people that are going to be there, and I'm looking forward to getting them on the podcast. But every year at Pod Row, we always meet new people, even at Equip. I mean, Equip's huge, so you can never meet everyone. So you stumble upon someone new, or someone comes up to you, hey, I've been following you, or I've been listening to your podcast, and then, hey, you want to get on Pod Row, share your story? Yeah, that's cool. And then you share another epic story that could resonate with someone that's listening. Be like, oh man, that was inspirational. Or, oh, I had that same challenge. That was a good idea that they had. I'm going to try that, or whatever, or maybe someone listens and they're like, I can help that guy. Like, I'm going to reach out to them on Instagram. I know exactly how they can fix this problem because I had that problem. It could be the reverse, right? So it's all about sharing and communicating. And that's why I really like Pod Row, and why I helped it become like a reality. It was something that Paul and I talked about, Paul Jameson back in the day, and Mr. Producer, and it was essentially their idea, and I kind of brought it to life and trademarked it, and have been building this proof of concept and getting it in all these trade shows so that we can create a lot of great content for all the listeners, as well as all the networking opportunities for us to potentially have new opportunities in the future to help grow the community as well. Not just through content, but through events and so on. So it's going to be a good time. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. You asked the other day if we need Wi-Fi. I would love Wi-Fi because I would like to do maybe one or two of these live with people out here. I'm gonna bring everything that I have to hopefully do some innovative things out there in the podcasting space.
Yeah, we got Wi-Fi. I got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm excited. But we'll get you out of here on this. Looking ahead, what's next for LCR Media? Naylor Taliaferro. Do you got any projects, any visions, any goals you're chasing down you want to share that would inspire the listener or the viewer who's watching right now? You did an excellent job on this episode too, by the way, Naylor.
Oh, thank you.
People are loving it. You've been up to
Oh, thank you.
40 viewers at one time. which is a lot for my smaller channel. So shout out to you, kid.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I wanted to also answer your other question that I didn't get to answer. How did I get this mindset?
Yes.
I realized that I needed to borrow other people's beliefs in me so that I could acquire the right, so that I could then become the person that I need to become, that already believed in myself and have that right mindset. But in order to do that, I had to get outside of my comfort zone. I had to, like I said earlier in the episode, I had to go to events outside of our industry. I had to meet people that I had never thought I would ever meet. And I had to invest my time. That was time, and then my money to actually go to these places and then invest in some coaching, right? Like I've invested in 2 different coaches already. I have an active business coach right now. And prior, I invested in a different coach for sponsorships and working with brands, and how can I create better experiences with events for the community, and just dialing all that in. And that kind of really helped me through the transition. Even him, the very first coach, he was like, you're like right there. You already have so much knowledge and experience from so many different things. He's like, you remind me of me however many years ago when I was first starting doing all this. Like, you just need some more confidence in yourself. And so, so I was borrowing his beliefs in me, and I didn't even really realize that. Like, I thought I was crushing it. I don't know. Like, I didn't, like, I was like, all right, okay, but I knew I was leaving money on the table. I knew there's things I didn't know. I knew enough of that to be able to search it out. But I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for Paul sharing his testimony of this coach and how he helped him with this and that. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to look this guy up, right? And so then that kind of started a new mindset, a new level of awareness, and I just kind of started going down this path. And there's also been some heartaches, some quote unquote failures kind of along the way over the last few years as well. Some struggles, right? Like, we learn the most from our failures than our successes. So like, when you pack a room all the time, it's just par for the course. You're all happy, everyone's happy. But when you don't pack a room, or you don't even have the room anymore, or whatever, or you have sponsors throwing money at you left and right, and you're like, yeah, life's good. And then all of a sudden their pocketbooks get all closed, or their budgets close up, and you're like, what the heck? Now you don't have any more money to do these events. Like, those are some trying situations, and that makes you think differently as well. That changes your mindset. It forces you to be strong, to be resilient, to think outside the box, and try to figure it out. And that's what I did as well. So then I found another business coach, which gave me a whole new level of awareness again. So that's how I've done it, is by investing my time and money in being intentional with my time, so that I can get the most out of these situations that I want to learn what I don't know, so that I can grow, right? Like, and just keep advancing. So that's that. And then the last thing is, right after Pod Row, like, I've been really trying to, it's been really hard. We talked about this in the very beginning, even now, like, because I just keep having more and more stuff, that I really enjoy. I'm passionate about all of it. I'm like, why can't I just do it all? I want to do it all. I love it. Whatever. But you got to manage it all the best you can. So like, it does get a little crazy, but so I've been really trying to focus on, there's some things, sometimes you have to focus on everything. But I remember Mr. Beast saying this a while back. He said it got a little crazy when he would do multiple things in one day. Like, he would be focusing on Beast philanthropy, doing something there, and then somebody would ask him about the main channel, or someone would ask him about Feastables or whatever, and he'd be like, his brain just didn't function like that. Like, he's similar to me, I guess. Like, maybe that's the thing, is you have a creative mind that you focus on one creative thing, and you can't bounce back and forth on these different creative projects that require so much of your creative thought. So like, he was really stressed out when he was doing that, and then he just blocked his time. He's like, no, today I'm only doing Feastables. Today I'm only doing the main channel, or these 2 days we're traveling and we're shooting this video for the main channel, and then if an emergency comes up, it comes up. Now he's got a team for that kind of stuff, but he makes sure that he's not overwhelmed with all these things. So similar, I try to do the same thing. Like, there's some things I got to focus on, anyway, but I'm trying to focus on Pod Row for Vegas. And once that's over, then it's all about Equip. It's all about October. Got all the things that you mentioned coming up. LCR Summit's the biggest one, because it's 2 days. where you're going to learn how to market your business to increase leads, how to turn those leads into customers, how to hire the right people to do the work for those customers, and how to create culture where customers and employees never want to leave, and then how to price and budget everything in your business correctly so you have the business you've always wanted, and you have a business that serves you instead of you being a slave to it. So that's what the LCR Summit's all about for 2 days, and I can't wait. I mean, you were there last year. It was pretty amazing and transforming on so many levels. Even for myself, I was still like, wow, I transformed a little bit even more. I was like, this is amazing. So I can't wait for the next one in Louisville, Kentucky, October 20th and 21st.
Yeah, I'm excited, bro. When you asked me to be a part of that, I was excited. People who help me, who help to put me in position, creates a loyalty in me, and I know it's probably like that for most people. Is you help me when you don't have to, because I help it's so many people. And this isn't to toot my own horn, but it's just because that's what I want to do. I feel called to help other people, even if it. I used to help other football teams. Hey, look, this is a play we run, and then they turn around, and they start beating us. I just can't help myself. I want to help other people, and I think that's a dope quality that you have, is always looking to help other people, Naylor. But I want to acknowledge real quick, Nick, the nanny. I appreciate the super sticker, $50, man. I didn't even know that was possible, but I appreciate
Nice.
that, man.
Let's
That
go.
that
Let's
was really
go.
awesome, man. Let's go ahead and shout out to Nick. We appreciate that, man. That means a lot, because Naylor talked earlier about trying to do everything. I'm trying to do so many different things because of the value that people have been saying that it gives to them. It ain't that I think it's valuable. It's that people literally have DM me or emailed me or called my work phone. Please don't do that. Call my work phone. Emails or DMs are awesome, to tell me like either the podcast or a video or Instagram reel or TikTok or something has helped them in some way. So that's dope. But you mentioned everything matters, and I've heard that before from two people who I really enjoy. One's Jim Rohn. He was like, everything matters. People think that things don't matter, and then I heard Brian Tracy say, we as people only think that the thing that we think matters, when it's everything that matters. If you decide not to get up today, or you decide to get up today and eat that bowl of, frosted flakes, that matters, because if the next day you do it, it's a compounded interest type of thing, just like when you invest. Everything matters. It's every single day matters, every second matters, every minute matters. And you matter most of all. That's dope. But Naylor, what is some advice you would give to somebody? Because we was only supposed to go on here for 20 or 30 minutes. It's now an hour and 50 minutes we've been on here, which is always happens anytime I talk to someone who I both admire and is also one of my friends, because it's just easy to talk whenever you're having fun with one of your friends. But what is some advice that you would give to someone who's fresh in the game, and where can everyone find you?
I would say the biggest advice is to be a part of a network, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's locally. I mean, I definitely try to reach out to people locally. Social media is helpful for that. Um, like to really connect with people. Oh, I'm in Virginia too. Where are you? Like you can really connect with people. That was the whole point of social media when it was first created. So like, connecting all over the world, literally. But like just getting yourself out there and connecting locally at events, online, in whatever communities you can find, all of those ways to connect. Because I know me in the very beginning, I felt all alone and like I was on like a deserted island somewhere, and I felt like I was the only one going through all these things because I had no idea. I went from retail to lawn care. I mean, I know business is business and customers, and I got all that. Like customers are a pain, and whatever. Like I get all that, but there were certain things, and I was just like, man, like, is this like, am I like stressed out about the only one stressed out about it? Am I the only one dying in this heat? Am I the only one this and that? Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's just some things you think are like superficial, and you're like, why am I even worrying about this? But then when you get connected to a community, or you start following, different people on social media, now you start seeing that you're not alone. Now you start connecting and you feel part of a community where human beings are social creatures. We're meant to be together. We're not meant to be isolated and all alone. So, and entrepreneurship is not something that everyone does or knows much about or whatever. So for every entrepreneur on this live stream or listening to this podcast, you're probably the one in your group, like in your family, in your friend group. You might have connected with someone along the way, or you might be the small percentage that you came from a family of entrepreneurs or whatever the deal is, right? But the majority of us are the crazy entrepreneurs that did whatever we're doing, start a lawn care business or whatever it is, and everyone thinks you're crazy. You left this job for what? For that? You don't have any benefits now. Now you got to do this. Now you got to get it this way. Like, people want to tell you how crazy you are, so you feel all isolated and all alone, and you're like, am I even doing the right thing? So when you get connected to a community of any kind, however that looks, whether you find a Facebook group that's not terrible, that's positive and encouraging, even if you have to pay for one that's filtered down, like I said, the bottom of the funnel, so you get the best of the best. You don't have to worry about all the junk of the rest, or you go to a live event, in-person event, virtual events, just all the different ways. And then social media, like you're doing now, just staying connected so you can hear the stories, you can feel like you're part of a greater cause, a greater community, and you can learn. And that's ultimately the best way, because you don't know what you don't know. And what got you this far will only get you this far. So if you want to get that far, you have to learn something new to get there. So that's kind of my closing words. And you can find me kind of anywhere. You can just Google LCR, Lawn Care Rookie. But I have a podcast, LCR Media podcast, going on almost 5 years in November. LCR Summit's coming up in October. LCRsummit.com is where you can get all the info for that. Tickets are selling quick. There's only 30 tickets left, I believe. So make sure you go ahead and get your ticket before the room fills up, because it's a small room. It's the bottom of the funnel. It's the bottom of the funnel, right? Like, this isn't top of funnel, massive room just to get everyone and anyone. No, I'm curating a room for you so that you can get the best from the best. And then you can take that to the rest.
That's fire. You can sign up at lcrsummit.com and you can use code Mack. Put that in as your referral code, man. Naylor will hook me up with a small commission for putting you on to the LCR Summit. I 100% endorse this. I'm going to be the MC, and I've been the MC the last years at EXPO. I'll be the MC this year. I was at the first one that was in Atlanta at the Creator Clubhouse that Naylor put together, and it is by far, in my own personal opinion, the best live event that I personally go to when it comes to business owner to business owner and learning from some of the industry's best, like John Pajak, to get your money right, like Eric Triplett, the Pawn Digger, to get your marketing right, like Naylor and Paul to help you to grow on social media. Am I leaving anyone out? Oh, am I leaving someone out?
We got Jonas Olson, the
And
pest
Jonas
control millionaire.
Olson, who's
Yeah,
killing it on YouTube, over 100,000 subscribers, and he has a $1 million pest control business
$10
with
million
$10
pest
million
control business, over
pest.
200 employees. The
That's
dude is
crazy.
crushing it.
So again, anywhere you want to go, if you want to be more of a solo, one helper or two crew type of guy, all the way up to a multi-million dollar, what's that, seven,
That's
eight
8 figure.
figures,
Yeah.
something like that,
Yep.
business
8 figure.
and
Yeah.
pest control, to Paul Jameson, who's killing it on social media, and Naylor put all of this stuff together to help you out, and I will be there on the one. No, not the ones and twos. I'm not the DJ. I'm the damn MC. I'll be on the mic introducing everyone to you and keeping this thing flowing for my homie Naylor. I appreciate you coming through the show, showing love, Naylor. You've been a huge supporter of me and the things that I do, the things that I do with my homie Cedric, and helping me to learn how to navigate all of this new uncharted waters for me. I get to bring my small little boat in the wake of the big boat that you're driving currently. That's going to help me so that we can help other people. And my man Nick just went crazy and did $100. He said, I followed Naylor since I started my business in 2016. Thank you, Mac, for this episode. Just this refueled me, man. Well, you
Wow.
refueled me. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
This is
Thank
another
you, Nick.
thing I didn't
Yeah,
even know was possible, but Nick has sent 2 super chats in, one for $50 and one for $100, and
let's
I greatly
go.
appreciate that, man. That's fire.
Yeah, nice job, Nick. Awesome. Thank you.
My man, you can follow Naylor at LCR Media or
Just
what was
LCR. Yeah, yeah, you can just
LCR?
type in LCR on Instagram, YouTube, or just Google LCR. You'll see all the things, including the LCR Summit. Will pop up. I'm on Facebook, all the things, but I'm most active on Instagram, YouTube, and my podcast. Facebook's connected to Instagram, so it's just kind of the same whatever. But yeah, that's LCR Media podcast. Everything else is LCR. So
Well, I appreciate you being on the show tonight, Naylor. I look forward to hanging out with you next week in Las Vegas. It's gonna be hot, bro. It's the middle of July. It's about to be
yes,
120
sir. Well,
degrees.
it's different. It's going to be different because there's the parting thing is Charlotte, North Carolina. Mark Bradley's doing an event there, and there's some folks I know from Vegas, or not from Vegas, from California, and they went to Charlotte for this event, and they came a day earlier, and they were playing golf in Charlotte. And I'm watching their story, and they're like, "Man, we've only been like," they're all like happy. We're going golfing this morning, and then like later on in their story, they're sitting in the golf cart and they're just covered in sweat, and they're like, "We've only been golfing for an hour and a half. It is humid."
They're not
So
used to
like,
that.
yeah, they're not used to that. So it's going to be hot, but it's going to be dry heat. I'll take that every day. This humidity is crazy. Every day now it's saying dangerously humid here in Virginia. I'm like,
Same
you're
here.
killing me. It's just like 90 something percent humidity. You just step outside and you just start dripping sweat.
No doubt, bro. It was
Crazy.
80. It was 83 today, and
Oh,
I was
man.
basically soaked through the first shirt by 10:30. And I looked
Yeah.
at Captain Jack. I said, "How was it 90 something degrees last week? We were fine, and then this week it's 85 degrees, and I just
85.
don't want to get out of the truck." You know,
Yeah, but it
we usually
feels
don't
like
even do the
100.
air conditioner, bro. But we in
Yeah.
there with that air on full blast, bro.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
appreciate you being on the show tonight again. You can sign up for LCR Summit. Come in, man. Come down to EXPO on that Sunday night. Hang out with us Monday and Tuesday. He even has a VIP dinner. I don't know if that's still on, but I will be at that one this year. Couldn't attend it last year, but I'll be there this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at LCR Summit October 20th and 21st down in Louisville, Kentucky. You can use code Mack and yeah, sign up. LCR Summit.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. I appreciate you. Peace.
Thanks.
That was dope, man. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's show. My homie Naylor came through. We got to get to the last shot now. In case you haven't figured it out, this show that I do, we're gonna turn it into 4 quarters, hopefully, so we ain't doing 2 hour long podcasts. This is gonna be I'm gonna have to break this up into 2 separate episodes, right? So I don't just bore you out. Even though this episode has been totally fire, Naylor has killed it. He's a beast when it comes to this social media stuff. But the last shot is something that Naylor said at during the show, where he said, "I'm trying to be serious, not just curious. Be serious about the things that you want in your life. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have dreams and goals maybe you have a goal that you want to buy your mom a house or your dad a car, or you want to buy in-ground swimming pool, or the new mower that you want, or go from the car that you're pulling your mower out of the back of your out of the trunk of to a new F-150 or 1500 or whatever the case may be. You got to be serious at that. You can't just be curious. Dreams don't just happen without action. If you want your dreams to come true, you got to take action and you got to get after it. I said at the beginning of the show, you only got one life. Do not waste it being curious about what you could have been. Be serious about what you will be, because everything that you ever wanted in your life, it is out there just waiting for you to grab hold of it, to turn that thing that you've seen in your imagination, that you create it and turn it into a reality. This is what you've been called to do, to be your best self, to live your best life, to provide the best life possible for all people who are around you in your atmosphere. The only way for that to happen is for you to get off the curiosity and get serious about the things that you want in your life. Don't just be curious, man. Be serious. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but success. Don't forget to sign up for the 2025 Winning Life Meetup. You can do that in the show notes. You can do that on this YouTube video. You can do that on my link tree at Mack_landscaping. Don't forget to sign up for EXPO. You can't come to the Winning Life Meetup if you don't do that. Mac 50 will save you 50% on your Equip registration. And don't forget, you have the opportunity to do some learning and some growing with the LCR Summit on Monday and Tuesday down there at Equip Expo. So start investing in yourself, because if you don't, then you're just curious and you're not serious. I love you. I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but success. And remember, the Creator created you to be creative. So get out there and create whatever you want in your life. Because I'm out. Peace.